We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. 恭请大德三体，为此法会尽一切众生，请真妙法轮教导我们，如何了生脱死离苦得乐，速证无生。
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo Sadanto Suchedoye Alahudi Samyao Samputosye.
Namo Sadanto Suchedoye Alahudi Samyao Samputosye.
Namo Tadakta Toya Daya Alahade Tamyo Tamboda Toa.
Namo Tadakta Toya Daya Alahade Tamyo Tamboda Toa.
The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。
O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Jingliang, Venerable Shenhua,
诸佛菩
Venerable
萨
Lafeng、
清
people,
凉
and
大
all
士、宣化
good
上
known
人、各位
advisors,
出家人、各位
Amitofo.
善知识，阿弥陀佛。
诸佛菩萨、净量师父、清凉大师、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。诸佛菩萨、
清凉大师、宣化上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。
Hello everyone.
大家好，今天呢是11月7号，2021年。我们在这呢，继续呢，在讨论呢第一个大方广佛华严经。
All right, we on slide 35.
我们在第35页，我们就一直我们在说这个这个6种成就，我们正在讲这个6种成就。
So far we to the we at the fifth requirement.
我们就讲到了这个第5处成就。当你在这个说法的时候，你只需要一个地方来说法。那个时候呢，佛呢其实并不是说需要一个道场，但是呢，还是需要有一个地点，有一个它是在一个玛嘎达的这个摩羯提国，所以呢，他就讲到我们这个所谓的文化背景那时候所用的。那第6呢，就是第36页呢，就是呢，这个是众成就。那这是一个非常重要的讲经的一个要素。经文是讲给谁听的？这是就是跟大家 决定说我们可以学的，我们可以跟这个人学的。
In particular, this Avatamsaka
这个大方广佛华严经呢，这里就讲了，就是说，就是讲到这个菩萨们呢，其实是这个原因。这个就是对这个觉悟的人呢。
When we listen to it, we plant the seeds.
当我们在听的时候，我们会种下这个觉悟的种子。所以呢，不单是呢这个成就呢，还有呢，就是他告诉你呢，这个法本身的这个内容，这就是这个菩萨们呢。就说他的这个从这个低到非常高的程度。所以呢，为什么是这么好的一个这么棒的一件事情？所以就看你的这个程度呢，你就可以得到不同的。当宣化上人说法，他是跟他们的弟子说。
And it's unfortunate to me because he spoke to those sutras. For example, he spoke the Shrangma Sutra when he lectured on that in the U.S. To a group of master's degree students from some kind of university of Washington
讲的，在比如说像在这个 university 在 Washington 的时候讲的，你就知道他只能讲到某一种程度，因为那些人他没有办法可以理解那样高度的程度，但是他的这个论言经呢里面就讲的是非常重要的一个那样的经文，所以这个经文对你自己呢，当你听到这样的这个解释呢，它其实并不是非常高的程度，但是这是为什么我非常喜欢听，因为如果是太深奥呢，我就说哦，这太无聊了。我那时候之前听的非常非常喜欢，觉得非常听了非常有乐趣。
But is the assembly,
但是是这个大众呢，他们呢
invoke
是可以
that will demand the level of depth of the teachings. Okay, so I feel that again it's unfortunate because Master Hsuan Hua is a master at lecturing sutras.
当你在听这个 sutra 的时候呢
，Q level is so incredible. When he explained the sutra, also
当你在
very
说这
early
个
on
经文
in
的
his
时候，
teaching career,
很早
when
的
his
时候呢，
level
当你的这个程度
probably
呢
a bit lower.
是比较低，他的那个时候他的程度比较低一点，那个时候，那尤其是听众呢也是比较低的，所以你就必须要跟这个弟子们、跟这个听众们呢有连结，不然他们就会放弃。那我记得他是呢，他的解释呢是非常。在low side 就是在大方广佛华严经里面，所以可能当到我们的这个时间上呢，这个所有人呢，你的这个程度呢是会比他高很多，你最好要祈祷说，请宣化上人要帮助我，当然不然我是没办法帮助你们的。你知道我为什么双手合掌，在我们在请法的时候呢，我就说啊，请佛啊菩萨，请你帮我，不要让我呢，就是在这边丢脸。
Okay, and that's a trick too. When you guys need to
其实呢，这也是一个方法。当你们要说法的时候，你们诚心的请他们来帮助你，那就可以帮助你。37，那第37呢？
No way。
这个就是在讲说，这里是耶巴达康的 assembly， 诸大菩萨及大阿罗汉同闻佛说法。
Okay, arahats.
是师父说是没有阿罗汉
The
的，
arahats were
不应
not
该是没有阿罗汉的，
allowed to
阿罗
listen.
汉是没有办法，
It's not meant
是
for them, so
不应该
they
让他
turn
们
away.
听的，所以他们
Q&A,
就
go
被
ahead.
他们就
Hello,
没有
Master.
让他们
I
听。
have 2 questions.
师父，我有两
So
个问
first
题。
question is
第一
that
个是
do you plan to elaborate on Shrangaman
你会
Sutra
讲
since Master
打算
Shanghai's
讲这
explanation
个
was
楞严经吗？
Sutra,
从这个
do I plan to elaborate on that?
这个
I doubt it, because at this point here in my
因为
career,
在这个阶段呢，在我的这个
I don't think I can add more to the sutra. If I were
目
to
前这个阶
lecture
段，
on
我
that
不觉得我
sutra,
可
for
以再
example, I simply will be regurgitating
有
what
再
Master
附加
Shenhua
更多新的资
taught.
讯在
Okay.
宣化上人
And
所
that
讲
would
的
be a
这个
waste
楞
of
严
time
经上面
for you.
所以呢，那
I
就
mean,
会是
I
在
will
浪费
not
你的
sit here
时
and
间。
pretend I can add more to it than what he did. He did a fantastic job. Okay, he delved into deeper things, and
那他做了很多
I'm
很多
afraid
奇特的
if I
事情。
go any
那
deeper,
如果
I'm
你在
gonna, no one
往
will
里面
listen.
做呢，其实是没有
Because
人
we
可以
lose
懂
people
的。
left and right.
你
Here, at
会
least I can BS
使
and
大
tell
家
you
呢
about what's happening in Australia and so forth. It's another continent in the context of Avatamsaka Sutra. But Shrangamana Sutra is very demanding, very
但是呢
rigorous. You
楞
do
严
not
经呢，
mess
其
with
实是
Chan.
非常
Those
非
are
常
the Chan principles, the Chan things
非
that
常非常的
I feel
困难的、艰
that
难的，而且
only the Chinese
要非
texts
常
I
精
saw
进
from
的去
Master
学它
Yuming Shou.
那我只记得我看过这个有名寿大师呢，就是第6
transformation
个
body
净土
Amitabha Sutra.
宗的这个祖师呢，就
It
是
is
他
that
是
level
号
of
他是这
complexity.
个阿弥
You
陀
read
佛
that
的
thing here,
的
it's just scary.
化身，所以我只记得你读到他的这个解释呢，是非常非常令
When I
人
retire, I
真
have
的
more
是非常
time
可
to do
怕、非
that
常厉
and
害
read.
的。
I
所以
would
可
love to
能
go
等
back
我
to
这个退休了以后呢，我就是我会希望我能有机会呢，再回
He's
去
a
听
Chan
这个永
master,
明
and
寿
he chose to
这
teach a Pure
个
Land because he's the Amitabha Buddha body. So it's funny. Because
大
for
师
him,
呢，他所解的，
he
因为
started
他
his
是
career by
阿弥
learning
陀
Chan,
佛的化
and
身
then。he
那他先
in
开始
orders
的，刚开始
to
修行
do
的时候，
his
他就是
job.
学禅。
He
那要把他
he
的
specialized in teaching Pure Land only. Yeah. So
做他的
so
工作
that's
呢，他就
tells you
决
that
定
his
特别
skill
呢教
level
导
pretty
大
high.
家这个净
And I'd
土，
love
这
to
就
in the
是
future
你讲到他
to
的这个
delve back into it. And
skill level，就
if
是
I
他
read
的这
that,
个
then
功夫
I
呢，以
might
及理解的程度
lecture
呢
on
是非
Shravana
常高的。
Sutra. Then
所
I
以
would
呢，如果我
pleasurize
读了
it,
他
if you will.
他讲的，那
Q&A
我就可能会来继
Second
续
question
讲经。
second question
第二个
is
问题呢？
since at the Buddha's time
第
only
二个问题就是说，
bodhisattvas can hear
在
the
佛的
sutra.
时期，只有菩萨们那时
How
候可以
come
听这个大
now
方广
at
佛华严经？那
the
为什么现
Dharma
在
ending
呢？
time
在这个末法时代呢？
lower level people like us can
像我
hear
们
the
这些比
sutra?
较低等的人，可以听这个
Is there a question?
听经，
Yes, that's a question.
这是一个问题
Why are
吗？
we hearing it?
为什么我们
No,
现在
it,
在
it
听
was
这个？
reserved for only
你的问
bodhisattva
题
the
是说
Buddha's
我们
time.
为什么
Now
现在在
at
听
this
这个法？
time
他
seems
说
like
在那个时候明
Buddha's
明
not
就
even
是
here
只
and
给
Dharma ending
佛
age,
跟大
but
菩
then
萨们听的。那
lower
现
level
在
people
呢？
like us have the rights or the privilege to hear
是意思
Yeah,
就是说，反而
absolutely,
在
because
这个末法时代呢，
some
一
you
般
are
的人呢
bodhisattvas.，
这个菩萨们呢，一般的菩萨呢，
face it,
他是
special.
可以听。反而可以听这个经，
bodhisattvas
不是
look
菩萨
around
反而
you.
听。
You
师父
look
就说，
closely,
你们
they're
有些人是
bodhisattvas
菩萨，你如果仔细看
among，you.
你们是特别的。那么很多是菩萨，
Ready
如果
to-
你们仔细看。Billy 说谁谁谁谁。
Okay. I'm not sure why the Buddha spoke the sutra only for bodhisattvas. To
我不
me,
太
that's
确定
something
佛
he
真
did
的
I couldn't
是只是
understand. To me,
为了
he
大
speaks
菩萨们说
sutra
法。
for
对我来说
everyone.
呢，你说讲经说法就是为
And
所有的
even
人
if we
说
don't
的。
get it,
就
we
算
plant
我
the
们不
seeds.
懂呢，
Didn't we hear
我
somewhere
们也
in
是
this
种下种
sutra
子呢。
where
我们有
when you
讲过
hear
说，
the
当你听
sutra,
这个文
you
字
will
经
have
呢，
these
你
indestructible
就有这
seeds
个
in your
无法
consciousness. Vajra seeds and
破坏的这个
consciousness.
金刚
So
经
even
在你
if
的
you
意识
don't
里面，所
understand
以
at
就算你
all,
们
you
完
have
全
these
都不懂呢，
incredible
你还是有
seeds.
种下这个非常
I mean, to
棒的
me,
种子。
Buddhism is not so much about about like something you see concrete results right away, like winning a super lotto or buying a car and so forth. No, Buddhism is about judiciously planting the seeds. Number one, okay, and those are without the seeds, there's no way for you to become enlightened. No way.
没有这个种子呢，其实你是不可能会
So for you to become enlightened, you must have a lot of
所以你要能够觉悟呢，你应该是种下了很多这个金刚种子。
And so I didn't quite understand why he only explained it to the Bodhisattvas. Maybe he said, this is so advanced, let me teach the Bodhisattvas first, get it out of the way. The rest of the humans are not quite ready yet. And so let's do the most important things first. Let's take care of the Bodhisattvas. And then for the humans, they need to be prepared. They need more time. So then after he took care of the most important task to serve the Bodhisattvas.
花了很多时间去
So in Buddhism, when you're Bodhisattva,
所以因为在佛教里面，如果你是菩萨们，我们就会
it's a privileged class.
反向的特别照顾你们，给你们一些特别的待遇。所以呢，所有的佛教徒都知道你们了，都知道你们。
So that's why he took care of them first. And then after that, in order to take care of the humans, in order to train the humans, he needs to go through, he taught us what you need to do in order to train the humans. Okay? So he went through the Agama to give them the proper foundation. Agama, what's the important thing about the Agama teaching? The first thing he taught is Agama. It's about the proper foundation. Okay? Back then, there were yogis, Brahmins, all kinds of practitioners who had a pure life. They led a life of purity, a life of devotion, a life of faith. But Buddha felt like with all these superior, pure people, the foundation is still not solid enough for wisdom. Wisdom needs to stand on something. That foundation there. So that's why he said, you know, I need to, the Agama thing is primarily to give them the proper foundation that they can build on. This foundation, Buddhism is something that grows, that keeps on getting built, gets enlarged. Okay? Gets stronger, gets deeper. So he started with that. That's the Agama thing. That's the main thing. It's not about breathing. To me, it's not about breathing. I'm not interested in breathing. Who cares about breathing? Why do you have to learn to breathe? You're breathing already, aren't you? Anyway, I'm opinionated, as you notice by now. Okay, I'm very opinionated. I lived my entire life, never worried about how to breathing. Now I have to learn how to breathe. You're kidding me. So I lived my entire life wrong? I'm offended by that concept. You have to learn how to breathe again. I don't get it. Okay, so that's my criticism of the Hinayana people. Don't teach me how to breathe. I can't. Who cares? Tell me something else I didn't know. So anyway, so to me it's not about breathing, not about all this death thing or you know, arhat thing, because to me it's a natural thing. Look, all of you who become arhats, did you know why you became arhats? See, you have no clues why you became arhats. So who cares about Four Noble Truths about you? Sorry, I got too far. I take it back. Okay. So that's why to do with humans, takes a lot of preparation.
是需要很多很多的准备。
Very, very difficult to teach. The Buddha said he realized that the humans
因为
forget
呢，凡夫
these
呢是非
are
常
not
难
worth it. Because it's not worth my
驯服
time.
的跟教导的，
Too much work.
太多的工
And
作
they're too slow.
太
And
慢
they're too
了，
full of themselves. what else? Peter, what else
觉
is
得
wrong
自
with
己太
humans?
厉害。还有 Peter， 你还有什么
Okay,
问题？
so that's why he ignored the humans. But then
所以他
because
就
of
不太见凡
because
夫
he got trapped. The Christian God,
所以呢，这
Daniel's
个
boss,
基督
and
徒
the
像
king
这
of the
个
first Dhyana
天主
heaven,
呢，还有就是第
they colluded
第一
and they requested the
天
Buddha
堂
to
的
teach.
主
So the
呢，
Buddha had no
他们就
choice.
请佛
He
来
said
教
he
导
had
他
to
们，他
teach
们
the
没有
humans. So he has to design this
选择，
this
他们就
beautiful
必须要做这
coursework
个
where it
非常
started
漂亮、
first
非
with the
常美
Agama,
的。我们
and
先
then
从这个
Vaipulya,
阿含那
and
开始，
then
在美古里亚，
Prajna,
然后在
and
般若
then，Lotus,
再来是
Nirvana. Okay, so he
妙法莲
prepared
华
them. He paved the way. Okay,
莲
and
华
that's
涅
how I
槃
see.
这个
That's
这个时
when
期。
you look at that,
所以
that's how
当
you
你看
see.
到那个 时
In
期呢，这个
order
不同的时
to
期，你就
teach
知道说
humans,
你要能够
this
教
is
导
what you
凡
need
夫
to do.
呢，这是你必须要做的。
It takes time.
它
You
是需
can't
要
rush
时
it.
间，你不能够
Okay.
去 赶
So
去
that's how I see. That's how I saw the
赶
Buddhist
它。
teaching. It's
这就是为什么呢？
masterful how he
为什么？
prepared. He paved the way for them. So Agama to me is purity, is the foundation. But Purya, it says, don't be so full of yourselves, a lot more going on. So that's sort of like a sales pitch. Okay, you're happy, right? You feel better about yourself, right? You know, by the
所
way,
以
it's
你
a
们
lot
其实
much
觉得
better
其实就是一个
things
sales
around the
pitch。
corner. Okay, that's for Purya. And then Prajna is when
这是般若。
This is the prize in Buddhism. You practice it all. You
因为
have
你
to
如果
shoot
修的
for
话呢，你
enlightenment
就是可以
because you're not
觉悟，
enlightened yet.
因为你还没
You
有
don't
觉
know
悟，
what you're
所以
missing.
呢，
Okay, so enlightenment is the
所以觉
prize.
悟呢，其实就是一个
Okay, if
很
you
大的一个
encounter Mahayana
prize。
and you don't set
这是
aside
很大
on,
的一个
you
奖。
know, I'm going to be enlightened. Then there's something wrong with you. Okay, yeah. So that's Prajna enlightenment. And however, that enlightenment is still not that
那个
high.
觉悟呢，
So
不
he
管
has
是
to
怎么样
teach a
呢，
perfect
还是没有
enlightenment.
很高，
In
所以
the
他
Lotus
也
Sutra where
会
it
要教
says,
圆觉，所
enlightenment
以
is not
在
enough. You
那
should be a
个
Buddha yourself.
莲华经呢，他就
Enlightenment
说
versus
觉悟
Buddha
是不
is
够
not
的，
quite the same.
这个觉悟跟佛是不一样的。
So what's the second question again?
所以第二个问题是什么呢？
We would have the privilege to. The question was why we at the Dharma ending age, when not bodhisattvas, have the privilege to
的第
hear
二个问
about
题就
this.
是为什么在末法时代呢？不是菩萨
Not only did I say that I said that there are
们可以听呢，
bodhisattvas
不但我
present,
说，
okay,
目前
and
是有菩
they
萨
need to
们
be
在
taken
做
care
的
of.
他们必
But
须要
also,
照顾到他们。还有呢，
it's
就是
not to me. It's not
对
just
我
the
来说，不是只
bodhisattvas.
是讲
Mahayana
给
has
菩萨们
something
听的。大乘佛法有一
very
个叫做
very unique
非常
in that
特别的。
this is called sudden teaching.
这个
Okay.
顿教法
So
门。
even though you're not a
所以就
bodhisattva
算你
yet,
不是菩萨
you
们
can become
你
enlightened
也可
yourself
以
very
是觉悟
quickly.
的，
So
你自己可
therefore,
以
you
很快的
cannot
觉悟，
ignore
所以
that.
你没有办法
Okay.
去
The Buddha
避免
has been
看到这件
preparing
事。佛呢
us
已经
already.
在
When he
准备
first
我
came
们，
to our
当他来
world
到这个世上的时候呢，
in the past,
他已经
people didn't know about Buddhism.
很多人
Now
不
we
知道
have
佛
Buddhism
教，
for
所以我们现在有
3,000
佛
years
教呢
already.
有
We have all these
3000
seeds,
年
Vajra
了，
seeds.
我们大家都有这个所谓的
Now,
金刚种子，
so it's the
所
conditions are
以
different.
这
You're
个
different.
状
So
况不
that's
同，
why
你们也不同，
that's why
跟当时不同。
the reason, the primary reason why,
原
even
因就
though
是
you're
为
not
什
a
么你不是
bodhisattva,
菩萨呢？
that you get to
你也
listen
可
to
以
this
听到
is
这个
because
经文呢，就是因为呢，
I probably cheated you in the
我可
past.
能
That's why you're
以
here
前
to
呢
collect.
可能骗过你们，所以你们现在来跟我讨债了。
It's very hard to attend these things.
因为你非常难能够来参加这样的这个说法的。
So clearly you're here because it's not the first time.
很明显的，你在这，因为表示它不是第一次，因为我以前有骗过你，所以你们现在呢就来跟我讨债。
Okay, no arhats. Okay, I don't know
没有阿罗汉，我不
which
知道
text
是
is from.
从哪里有说过这里面是有阿罗汉的，很奇怪，我记得是没有阿罗
It's
汉。
supposed to be no arhats at all.
应该
Now
是没
there
有
are
阿罗
arhats,
汉
but
的。
before is no
现在
arhats.
是有阿罗汉，但在那个时候是没有阿罗汉的。第38
Four questions are hard to ask the Buddha. I wish I could ask Master Shenhua questions
他
to
说有4
myself,
个问题
but
是可以问
never got a
要佛
chance
的
to
佛住世的时候，我们
because
依
he
佛而
died.
住。
So
但是呢，
before
他最
I
后
could think
在
of
他
any questions, so
离开之前呢，
wishing to
所以
respect
呢
his desires, I don't ask him questions
我
at
就
all.
没有问他任何问题。
Number one, what are the four
第一
questions?
个，这4个
The
问
four
题呢，
questions that when the Buddha
当佛
said
呢
to his disciples
就
he
跟他的弟子
was
们说
leaving
呢
the，world.
他离开这个世
So
上
the
呢，
four questions
这后面
that
就有这4个问题。
the Aniruddha were
阿尼鲁
taught
达
to
呢，那
ask
时
the
候
Buddha
呢，那时候就
was
被
number
教
one,
问师父就说，
when Buddha was
当
here,
佛在世的时候呢，
they relied upon the Buddha.
我们
After the
依
Buddha
佛
is
而
gone,
住。入涅槃
where
后
should
呢，我们
they
依谁而住呢？
where could they rely on? Okay, and the second question, did we have answer for this? Okay, and the second question was, he was our teacher when he was alive. After he's dead, who should we look as for as a teacher? Number three,
佛住世时，我们以
if
佛
some
为师，入
Buddha
佛
was
涅
able
槃
to
后，我们
control
以谁
this
为师
evil
呢？
nature,
再来，佛住世时，恶
after
性
he's
比丘，
gone,
佛可以调伏，
who's
佛
in
入涅
control
槃后，
them?
谁来调伏
Bhikshu
呢？
needs to. Okay, and number four,
再来呢？
sutras are compiled, and how do you distinguish the sutras from Buddhist sutras from
结集经
the
藏在
other
开始的
non-Buddhist sutras?
经文用什么文
And
字
so
来
the
代表
Buddha
呢？
says the four
所以
things
佛
you
就说
should
有4 个
dwell. There are four places
有
that
4 处
you
呢
could dwell
你
on
可以
after I'm
住
gone. The four station of mindfulness.
就
This
是
is a very important
就是
concept. The 四念处, the
念
four
处
station of
有4念
mindfulness.
处。
First of all, the body is impure.
第
Don't
一
be
呢
so，attached
观
to your
身不
body.
净，不要那么的执着于你的身体
Okay.，
这是第一点。
No matter what you do
不
to
管
it,
你怎么
it's
做
still
呢
very，
它还是
impure.
不净。
It excretes impurities constantly. So don't worship your body. There's no need. Okay, you know it's just a tool. Okay, so don't be so
你知道它
enamored
就
with
只
your
是
body.
一个
Okay, so
一个 tool
in particular,
观身不
be
净，你
careful
就
of the
知道它
people
只是
who
一
are
个
so
工具而
attached
已
to。the bodies.
你要注意那些真的非
Number
常
two，
执着于他们身体的人。第二个，
Feelings are
观受
fleeting. They are
是苦
suffering.
就是所有
Including
的
especially
感受呢都是
feelings of
苦，尤其
pleasure
是
actually
你
are
们
suffering.
对
Think about
享乐
it.
的
No need
的
to
感觉呢
elaborate
是
on
苦
this.
的，
Okay,
所以这个是
because
不
it only
需要
makes you
花
depressed.
时间去看这个部
What?
分，它只
I
会
can't
让
feel
你
good
觉
about
得是
myself.
depressed。
Then
你说
why do I have
我
to
们不
live?
能觉得
You
我自
live
己
here
很
because you
棒
have to
吗？
repay your debts.
那我活着干嘛呢？你活着就是要来
You're here
还债的。
to repay. Number three,
第三，
the Buddha says you
说
should
你应该
know that
知道
thoughts are impermanent. Thoughts
观
are
心
fleeting.
无常。
They come and go
这些
with,
念头呢，就是来来去去的，
with their own will. There's no pattern. There's no
没有
there's no
任何
rhyme or
的
reason. It just come.
原因，他们就是来
All
来
of a
去去
sudden,
的。
this
突然
thought
就
pops in
来，
you,
这个念头进入
and
你，
that's it. And you think
就
it's
这样子，
yours.
你就觉得是你
Okay,
的。
and you cannot tell your
你就
own
没办
thoughts
法
from others' thoughts.
分别你的念
I
头
talked
与其他人的
to
念
some
头。
people
我
recently,
跟
and
很
they're
多人
crazy.
讲话，但是他们呢是很
You know,
很
they're
疯狂
manic,
的，
they're depressed,
他
they're
们又 manic 又
panic
depressed
attacks, they
又
are vain. They,
又很
so
这
many
个
problems.
愚痴，
and so
又
when I
又
realized it, Who am I
有很多
talking
问题
to?，
然后后来我就说，我到底跟
multiple
谁讲
personality as well.
是跟不同的
You
人
never
在
know
说
who
话，
you're
你不知道
talking
你
to.
在跟谁说，
Okay, so what to do?
所以怎么办呢？
So it's because
就
these
是呢，
people
是因为呢，这些人呢，
don't realize
他们并不
that
知道呢，他
the
们
thoughts are
的念头
impermanent.
呢是无常的，
Okay, so what do you do?
所以怎么办呢？
What do you do if you have these thoughts
如果
coming in
你
your
有
head?
这些念头在你的心中，你该怎么做呢？
You know they're impermanent. They
你
don't
知道他
last.
们都是无常的，
So what do you do?
你该怎么做呢？
Nothing. Don't do anything. They come and go by
他
themselves.
们就是来来去去的，
Okay? So train yourself
所以训练你
to
自己，
ignore these thoughts. And the
去不要
first
看这些念
rule
头。
of thumb
第一个
you need
条
to
件呢，就是
understand
呢
the，foundation of
那个基
this
础呢，
is
就
that
是
of our Mahayana practice
这个大
is
乘佛法的修
what?
行呢，是什么呢？
Ignore the thoughts.
不要听你的念头，听你自己心里
They are
面的念头，
preoccupied with yourself.
就是你心里面的念头，
No need to worry about
不需
yourself.
要担心你自己，
No need to
不需要
indulge yourself.
沉溺于自己心里面的念头，
What confused people do.
这是
They indulge
愚
themselves.
痴的人做
They
的。
say, "Oh, my life's so hard already."
他就
Let's
说
let's
哦，
indulge ourselves.
是我的，
Okay?
嗯，
If
我
you
觉得
have
很辛苦，既然已经这么辛苦
wisdom,
了，我就花点时
then you
间享
stop
乐吧
those，thoughts
给
and
自
you
己享
can
受。如果你有
ignore those
智慧
thoughts. Those thoughts are
你就
natural,
可
by the
以
way.
呢，
You
自然而
really
然的不要
want to
去看这
indulge
些，
yourself. That's just life.
看
That's
这些
how we
念头
made，up.
这就是我们的本身的样子。但是呢，
Just watch out for those types of
就注意
thoughts
这些
and
念头就
ignore
对
them.
了。
Do nothing whatsoever.
我
Do
就不看
nothing.，
就什么都
Because
不
they
要
will
做，
die by
因为
themselves.
他们自
You
己
don't
会
even need to
掉
kill them.
落。你不需要去杀它，
Like you kill a mosquito
就好像你杀这个
or a rat
啊、
or chicken.
老鼠或是鸡
Yes,
或者
there is.
是蚊子一般，
Master, is an impure thought
是一个
at the
师
same
傅如
level
果
of seriousness
一
as
个
an
不敬的念
impure
头
act?
的所造的业，是不是跟这个不敬的
Impure
行为呢
thoughts
的业是同样严重的？
are the cause of
这
impure
个不敬
acts.
的念头呢，就是
Let's, for example,
不敬
let's
的
be
行为
specific.
的
An impure
原
act
因
would be
一个，
polluting the environment.
比如说不
That's
敬
impure.
的作为呢，它就会
And
造成
there's
这个
so
环境
many
呢不敬。
impure thoughts
但
that
是
are the
有
root
很多
cause of
不
such
敬的念
behavior.
头呢，
Yes? Are we clear on that? Okay. So which one is worse?
所
Of
以哪一
course.
个是不好的
Excuse
呢？
me. If you get to the coarse level
尤其是你
where
到
you
这个非
commit
常
offenses with your body,
你
that's
用你的心造业下去的这个
very low
程度
level.
呢，是非常低的程度。
as cultivators,
当你是一个
we
修
need
行
to
者的
watch
时
out
候
for these，
我
impure
们必须要
thoughts
看我
so
们的这
that
个
we
不
don't
敬的
go,
念头，所
we
以
are
我们
not
不会呢
fooled by them
被他们
and
欺
take
骗，
action and
而
enact
且我
these
们来做
thoughts.
事。
Okay, so in the Buddhist practice,
所以在佛教里面
part
呢，
of the
其中呢
the initial teaching in the Buddha in the
一开始的
Agama
教义
period
呢
is that the Buddha says your
他
foundation
就说你
is to
的这
recognize
个基
that
础
these
呢，
thoughts are not
就
okay.
是看到说
It's
这
not
些念头
okay
是不
to
对
say
的，
me,
他不是
me,
说
me, me,
说
me.
一直说我
It's not
我
okay
是
at
不
all.
对的。
He insulted me.
他侮辱我，
There's no me
就
who
是
is
没有我，
insulted. How
没有我
stupid can
是
you be?
被侮辱的。
Huh? Buddhist teaching is when you have
佛
wisdom,
法
you
就是
find
教
out
你
it's no
有智
me.
慧，你是没有办法的。
So you learn from the wisdom, you
你
say,
从那个智慧
there's
来
no
呢，
me.
就说是没有
Who's
我的，
suffering?
是
There's no
受苦
one
的
who's suffering.
没有
What's the
人在
matter
受
with
苦
you? When are you going to
差
wake
别
up?
是什么？你什么时候会
Who's feeling bad?
会
No one is feeling bad.
是谁感觉不好？没有人在学的不好。
All your bad feelings go towards me already.
你们所有的不好的感觉都已经朝着我来了。你来我道场，所以你可以把这些东西都丢在我的道场里面。这不就是你们做的吗？一直在做的吗
？You say, no, not me. I'm on your side. Okay, that's the Hinayana. They say, oh, I need to eliminate these one thoughts, these bad thoughts. However, it's very simple. I'm telling you, I'm teaching you the Mahayana and Hinayana practice. Okay? That is, you have anything that says me, cut it off. Ignore it. That's all. That's all there is to it. Don't waste time on those thoughts. They are impermanent. They come and then they go. Don't have to do anything.
不需要做任何事情。
Okay? Don't have to get upset. Don't have to reject them. They will go by themselves. They will die by themselves. Okay? When you get a little bit higher,
等你比较累的时候呢
yes, 7.
第7
Mô Phật Bạch Thầy, người ta có cái tư tưởng đó là cái đó là cái bằng cái nghiệp của người ta, phải không thầy? Có cái tư tưởng giống mình nói cứ nghĩ những cái tư tưởng mà mình không có thể tưởng tượng được.
It's that simple. All you have to do is that, for example, he insulted me. Okay?
他已经侮辱我。
Is no one being insulted?
其实是没有人被侮辱的。
Huh? If you have wisdom,
如果你有智慧的话
if you really have wisdom, you realize no one is being insulted. Then now you don't have wisdom yet. All you have to say is, when I have wisdom,
你只要说我什么时候有
I'm bothered right now, but it's a temporary state, so I don't have to do anything.
被他骚扰，但是是暂时的，所以我不需要做任何事情，就这样子。
You don't need to go like Hinayana where they contemplate the impurities and they imagine you dead and then the body bloats and you have pus oozing out your holes in your body and so forth, worms and so forth. It's too slow.
等到你死了以后，你的身体里面就腐烂，然后最后那个时候才看到它的不净，小圣的那个方法是太慢了，就跟他说哦，其实是没有人在那儿的，你马上就觉悟了。
You don't believe me? That's what your problem is. Okay? I'm being very honest and
我是非
sincere
常诚实跟
right now
诚心的。
for change. Go ahead, 7.
Mô Phật Bạch Thầy. Giống người ta có cái tư tưởng đó là suốt cả đời rồi người ta cũng ra đi cũng mang cái tư tưởng đó rồi làm sao thầy?
Not enough blessings. The reason that's a good question. Oh, I've been ignoring the Vietnamese translation. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Translate.
忽略这个粤文的翻译。
So Master, she was asking like, so if you have those kind of thoughts, is that because of the karma? And then if you have those kind of thoughts like your whole life, and then when you die, will you bring those thoughts with you?
你会带这个念头跟着你吗？
I don't know. Have never been dead yet.
我从来还没死呢，所以我还没有死过，我不知道。
Okay. Just give me a few more years.
再给我几年就可以了。
All right. So thoughts. So you start first recognizing these negative thoughts about yourself that pop up in your mind. Get rid of them immediately.
马上放下它们。
Let's make a deal. Okay? You can talk all you want. You can read all you want. But it's meant for you to be able to apply to your daily lives. When you wear these negative thoughts, as soon as you wear them, ignore them. They are meaningless.
不要看他们，他
Okay?
们是
She is so
没有
repulsive. Is that a positive thought or negative thought?
没有意义的。比如说，你说这个人啊，真的是非常非常的讨厌他，这个是
Is that
正面
negative or
还是负
positive?
面的念头？正面还是负面
Positive.
是正面的。
That you can recognize
那你可以
repulsive
看
people.
到这个令人讨厌的人，令人不喜欢的人。
You are hopeless. I don't know what else to do with you. That's the next level.
这是下一个程度。
Next level is that first you
下一
get
个
rid
程
of
度
the
呢，
the
你先把
negative
这个
thoughts.
负面的影响都丢掉。
Okay? Next is that look at the bright
在
side.
下面就是看这个正
She's
面，
repulsive. I'm not.
它是负面的，但是我不行。
Yes, Andres. 3.
If you get rid of the negative thoughts, shouldn't you also get rid of the positive thoughts too?
Then what?
你要，所以你既然要把负面的
Then
念头
what's the
丢
point
下
in living?
呢？你是不是要把正面的念头也丢下呢？
Well,
活着干
it's,
嘛呢？
you know, the concept of attraction and aversion. So you're saying get rid of the thoughts that you cause, you know, that you have aversions to. But what about the thoughts that you're attracted to, like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool or something like
他
that?
就说了，
Like
你知道，就是
I
如果你有
just
这些念头说，哇，
isn't it better just to like not be attached to any of the
你
thoughts,
说
even
哇，
the
这个
like
太
you
棒
said, the
了。比如说
pleasures
你有
or
这些念头
the
说，哇，这个
pains?
东西我太喜欢了，太棒了，那不是
Okay.
也比较就
I
是
give you an
你是不是
example
要
of
可以放
positive
下
thought and
你这
see
些正面的念头？
what do you think you should be doing. Okay?
不是也比较好吗？那师父说好，我
I
给你
can
一个
give
例
it.
子，
You're
让你
boring.
讲
You
一个
have a
正面
boring
的念
life.
头，看
Nothing
你
really
喜不
worth
喜欢。
talking about. But let's say a person, this man here, look his wife, say, my wife is so beautiful.
假设这个人看到他的太太说：“哦，我太太很美。
You're not helping. ”
你没有在帮忙，
Okay. You're going to ignore that?
你要忽略这个念头吗？
Careful.
小心哦。
See? See? Yeah, some thoughts are very
所
good to have.
以有些念头是很应该要有的，是一件好事。
You know what I mean?
你懂我的意思吗？
Seriously. Where were we again?
我们是讲到哪去了？
Okay. No, the thing is that
重点是在
you have to
于
start somewhere.
你必须要从
And
某
the
一个地
drill
方
I'm
开始。
giving you today,
这里我跟你
okay,
讲的呢，
is take all negative thoughts and
把
sweep
所
them
有
off.
负面的念头
Don't care what they are.
都把它
Master
丢掉。
so
师父非常的
unfair. Thank you.
不公平，
Unfair. Not true.
并不是。
Okay? It's very simple. You start first with that. You see how wonderful your life becomes.
你从那
Just
先
like
开始，那你知道你的
That's the beginning of wisdom.
生活是怎么样
Why?
开始
Because you're able to do something that
你就
others cannot.
因为你可以做一些
It
别
doesn't
人
matter
无法做的事情，不管
Whether
是什
you're
么，
right
不管
or
你是
they're
对的还是
wrong
错
or
的，
whatever,
不管是什
any
么，
type of negative
任
thought
何
you're
负面
aware
的
of,
情绪
dump
你
them.
知道的，都把它丢掉，
Just dump them out. So ignore
就
them.
把它丢
That's all you
掉，
have
就
to
把
do.
它
Okay?
忽略它们。
And I would tell you your
那我
life
告诉
is
你，你的
improved
生
by
活
60%.
绝对
You're
是
60% happier.
有6会比以前
Yes, sir.
60%多的
You
快
know,
乐。
there's a bunch of new thought, like positive thought, and I've read a bunch of that stuff. And a lot of it is, when you have a negative thought,
当你有
you
负面影
flip
响
it
了，
instantly
你
to
就
a
把它变
positive
成一个
thought.
正面的
So if you're
念头。
mad at somebody,
所以你
then
如
you
果
just
不喜欢任何
automatically
人呢，
flip it to
你就
something you
把
can
它变
find that's
成
good about them
你马
or
上就
things like that.
翻过来把它
And I
找
was
到
doing that, and I felt really good
那
for
个
a little
人
bit. And
你喜
then
欢的那
after
个
a
人，
while,
我那时候有
it
这样子
just
做，
it's
结
weird
果
because
呢，
then
过了
you
一段
start
时
getting
间呢，
attached to the
很奇怪呢，
the
你就会
positive
开
things,
始
and
就
it
对
causes a
这
lot of
个
attachment.
你就开始会执着于很多正面的
So
事
in
情。
my opinion, I
所以
definitely
我
feel like
我
it's
个
better
人
just
觉得
to
呢，
try to
就试着
release your attachments
就是要
rather
放下
than
你的这个
trying to think positively
执着，
about things instead of think negatively.
然后就想正面的，而不是想负面的。揍他。
Someone just inspired me
有些人，有一个人刚刚
to give an answer to that type of question or comment.
让
And
我
I'm thank
可
you
以
for the inspiration.
给他那个
Give me an
那个
example.
答案。
If you train yourself,
如果你训练你自
we're
己，
talking about just us, okay,
我们
not
只
the
是讲我们，
bodhisattvas.
不是讲菩萨
Who
们。
cares about bodhisattvas?
谁
We low
在
level.
乎
Okay.
菩萨们 ？OK。如果你只是
Let's say you agree with me
假设你
that
同意我，
for the next week or two, this week and next week when we do 4G,
当我们做
when
佛
you
七
have
的时候，
any negative
你只
thoughts
要
in
有
you,
任何负面的念头呢，
sweep them off.
你就把它扫
Who's
光。
willing to do that?
谁愿意如此做？
Come on, Koreans, what are you
韩
doing
国
here?
人，你在这干嘛？
What's the matter with these Koreans? Master, say something meaningful. Good Lord. It's so much pressure.
在这里真的是很
They're
多
in
压
samadhi
力啊，他们
constantly.
都是在
Okay, so
定力之中。
you have these negative thoughts, okay?
假设
As
你
soon
有
you
这些负面的
recognize the
想法，
negative,
你只要一
okay,
看到它是负面的，
sweep them up, throw them away. Whether they're right or not doesn't matter. They throw them away. If you can do that,
就把它
okay,
丢掉。
you're 60% home. I'm telling you. You try that.
你如果能够
Okay,
如此
this
做
is
的话，
not this is not
你
a
就
joke.
是
You have to take me
6成就已经
seriously
快
one
达
of
到
these
了
days.
你
I'm trying
那
so
个
hard. Okay.
达到你
And
的
then
目
what
标。
happens theoretically?
但是呢，基本
What
上
happens when all
你
that's
只要
left is
在那个剩下的
the
呢，
good thoughts.
就
Yes.
是那个好的念头。
For example, I love God.
举例说，我爱天主，
Reasonable? It's a positive thought. I love God. I love my wife. I love
是
God. I mean,
合
I
理
love
的
my wife
吗？
more than I love God. Whatever.
他说
Okay.
我爱
I love
天
God.
主
Let's say
呢，
just
比我爱这
from my
个
inspirational moment. Someone walked in. I have an example of what a positive thought. I love God.
他说我爱天主，
Yes, that's a positive thought.
那是正面的。
Okay. How do you deal with that?
那你该如何呢？
What's the matter with you?
你就说你有什么毛病啊？
You have nothing else better to do?
你没有更好的事情做吗？
That becomes negative.
它就变成负面了。
Oh, Mary Jo likes my evil.
Mary 就喜欢我的这个
Even a
邪
positive
恶的部
thought
分，就算
can
一
be
个正
flipped
面
into
的
negative. You look at the right side.
正面的念头，
You
如
look
果
from the right
你
perspective,
看
it's
正对的
negative.
地
It's
方，
not
你从
positive
正确
at
的地方，
all.
它也是负面，它不是正面的。
Yes, Mary Jo.
是的
Let
，Mary
me have
Jo，
it. She's a therapist.
Yeah, well, the way the mind works is that when you have a
那个心理就
positive
是说，
thought, the
当你有
negative
个
pops up anyway. It sort of
心里就
comes
是
with
你
it.
有一个正面的念头，这负面的念头
That's
就
why
会
it's
起来，
very
它其
natural
实
for
是
you
一
to
起的，
flip it.
所以
A
你很容
positive
易
into
就可
negative
以
just
把
like that,
正面的翻
effortlessly.
成负面的，非常
What's the
非
matter
常
with you?
不费吹灰之力就可以翻过来的。
Thank you, Daniel.
谢谢你 ，Daniel，
You see that?
你看到了吗？
It takes practice. You have to
是
start first
需要
with
练习。
negative
第一，你要
thoughts.
先从
Just,
负面的
I
念头
don't
开始。
care.
就我不在乎
Whatever you
你
realize
所有
negative,
觉
just
得
sweep
负面的
on.
东
I
西，
don't
就
care.
把它
This
丢
is
掉。
nonsense. This negative
这
thought
是
is
这个
nonsense.
负面
Okay?
的念头是错的，是
So
错
you
的。
have the skills now.
所以你就有
You're
这
able
个
to
机
do
会
that，
觉得你已经可以这样
quickly.
做了，
So, and then you realize
然后
that
你就会发现呢，
your positive thoughts are actually
你的
negative because you're looking
正
at
面的
from a
的
wrong
念头
angle.
呢，
That's
其
all.
实是错的，你只是从反面的部分看到的，
So you sweep up the positive thoughts as well.
所以你就把这个负面的念头
What do you
也
have
消掉
left?
了。那剩下的是什么呢？
Happiness.
就只是单纯的快乐而已。
You're not
你也不是负面，你也不是正面的，你可以做自己。你就是正面、负面对你来说并不重要。你是邪恶的，我也是还是喜欢你。你是好的，也是可以的。你就自由了，解脱了，你就可以不再脱离你这个小我。
Okay, never mind. I don't know if that works. I never tried that. Wait, that's a negative thought. Ignore that.
是不是就说啊，我刚讲了一个负面的念头。
All right. So when you get a little bit higher,
所以当你越来越高的时候呢，
to understand,
你就
have
可
a
以
little bit of wisdom,
你就有点智慧呢，
this next is the
你就
next
说
level for you.
这
Then
只
you
是下一
realize
个
that past thoughts
下一个层次，你就知道说这个
thoughts about the
过
past
去心不可得，
don't
就
matter
是
at
所有
all.
关于
It's
过去
irrelevant. It's
都
gone
是
already.
不重要的，都已经结束了。
Present thoughts
现在心不可得，
don't matter.
现在的心也不
Soon
重要
you。think about it,
你
it
一旦
becomes a
想
past
它呢，它
already.
就成为过去
Okay?
了。
So there's no such thing as present
所
thoughts.
以也没有现在心，
And finally, future thoughts
未来心不可得。
are not born yet. What are you doing?
未来心还没
Okay,
我
no
还
such thing
没产生
as
出来，
future
那你在
thoughts.
想什么？
Okay?
所以
So this
也
is
没
the
有
level,
所谓的未
this
来
is the
心
level。
所以
wisdom
这个程度
where
呢，
I feel that
在我
the
觉得呢，
Chinese
很
speak too
多
casually about this.
这个
They
中国
speak
他
of
们在
this
说
as
的
an
时候说的
intellectual
太
exercise.
简
It's
洁，
not.
他们把它讲
This
的
is
好像
meant
是
for
一
people
种
who have some wisdom. So
其实
that
心里面的一
they
个
can
可以做的事情，所以呢，
they
他们就可
they
以，
can let go of their thoughts a lot
所以他
more
们就可
easily.
以放下
than the
他们
rest
的
of
念
us.
头。
For the rest of us, we need to start with that, learn to develop the
所
skills
以
to
但
get
是
rid
事
of
实上呢，
thoughts.
这个是一些有智
Okay?
慧的
And
人才
so
会有的
might
念
as well
头。
focus on the
所
negative
以我们
thoughts.
最好呢，从这个
How
负
come
面
no,
的
the
念头开
Chinese
始。
never taught
为什么
themselves
中
that?
国从来没有
That's
讲这个
baffling
部
to
分
me.？
觉得我
So
觉
I'm
得
teaching you.
很
We Americans
困惑。
can
那所
can
以我
learn how
们
to do it a lot quicker
美国人
than
可
the
以用这种
Chinese.
方式
Chinese
呢，
too confusing to
可以
me.
很快的
They
做到这一
talk-
点。
They know too much.
他们了解的太多
They
了，
know a lot of book things, but
他们
they
知道很多
they
的
don't
这个
know how to be, how to use them.
里面的东
They
西，
just
但他们
know a
不知
lot
道
of
怎么
things.
用它，他们就只是知道很多事
You
情。
bring up anything, they say,
你
"Oh,
讲
of
任何
course,
的东
of
西，他
course,
们
I
就说
know."
哦，当然，我懂。
No, you don't.
但是你其
Yes,
实并
number
不懂
3.。
第三，
I think that thoughts are like
我觉得这个
paired
念
with
头呢，
feelings a lot of the time, like
其实
the
是跟
negative
这
thoughts and
个
the positive thoughts. So
思想呢是连
is
在一
it
起的。
possible that when you have these
所
sort of
以
thoughts,
当
then
你
the
有这样子
feeling
的
comes
念
up,
头
you
呢，
try to
那个
let go
感
of the
觉会出
feeling,
来。
and the thought will go away?
你只要放下那个感觉，你是不是那个
No.
念头就会
You
就
got
会
the
放下
order
了？
reversed.
是呢，你把
It's
那
feelings
个
that create
顺序
thoughts,
颠倒了，
not
是
the
这个
other way
感
around.
觉造就这个念头的，并不是并不是反过来的。
It's you have feelings first. That's why you have
你有
thoughts.
这个，你先有感觉，你才会有念头的。
Okay. Yes, Mary Jo. Number 5.
This is the exact opposite of what psychology
这个
teaches us.
是
Sorry, just
psychology
confused.
讲的，
Yeah.
是相反的。
It's the we
心理学
teach
讲的
people that
是
their thoughts are creating their
是你们的念
emotional
头
experiences.
在
But it's actually the
在
other
造
way
成
around.
你
The
的
feelings
这
are
个感
creating a
觉。
need for us to put meaning and figure out,
但是事实
like we
上
get into
呢，
our
其实
heads
是
about
因
what
为
we're
你的
feeling.
感
That's
受
more of what
呢，
you're
才
describing, Master.
把这个
when you
你
look
的
at the
念
thought
头呢，
creating
才有念
feelings,
头来
those are
去解释你
fabricated.
的感受。
You're personally fabricated feelings. I'm
如果
talking
你
about
讲
feeling
的
a
这
deeper
个那些
level
念头
where
是你自己
they
创造出来的感
arise
觉，我讲的这个
with how
的受
your
呢，
an
是从你的
intervention from you.
心里面自然里
That
面出
arise,
来
that
的那
feeling,
种感觉。
that's when the
那
thoughts
个
are
感
born
受
from
呢，
those.
然后念头呢是从那些感受里面出来的，这是比较可怕的。
Psychologists don't know about. That's why you deal with the superficial level, where you say, "I have these thoughts here, and therefore they will generate feelings." So you're addressing skin deep level.
所以你在
and it will not fix the problems. It's called job security.
这就是为什么你们
to me it's job security. You fixing the
在
wrong
教你
problems.
就是说你们讲的问题
What
是
we
不
do
对的，
in Buddhism,
因为
we fix the
你们
feeling at much deeper
你们
level.
先要解决那个心理的念头，但是呢，在
Go
佛
ahead,
教里
Daniel.
面，他是先要准备解决这个感受的。Daniel，
7.
So I have a question. So what other thoughts are permanent, or and then my second question is
第一个就是念头会是
what's the difference between
永
having
久的嘛？
wisdom and thoughts? And my
那
third question
有
is
智慧
getting
以
candy
及
from the
有念头的差别在
little
哪里呢？
place, the snack place, is it considered stealing?
Third question, I don't get it. I know it's funny somehow because
第三个问题我听不懂。
it's Catholic humor or something. But what's the third question again?
第三个念头是什么？
Is getting candy from the little snack place stealing?
哈？
Yeah, downstairs is chocolates and
You've been
stuff.
stealing candies from us?
No.
Okay. Don't do that.
你是在偷我们的糖吗
Easy question.
？What？
No, let me try to answer. You want to answer him or you want to add more questions?
你要
Okay.
你
I'm
要
confused
回答他的
about-
问题，还
I
是
forgot what
你
the
要
first question
再
was
讲更
already.
多的？
Huh?
我已经
First
忘记
question,
他第一
someone
个
help
问
me
题
out.
是什么，有没有人帮助我？
See, even you forgot. And I thought I'm the only one who's old here. Huh? Help us. What's number one again?
The first question was, are there thoughts that are permanent?
这个念头是
The Buddhists has taught you
有
that thoughts are
永
not
久的念
permanent.
头
What are
吗
you doing asking that question? Oh, you walked in too late. Thoughts are impermanent. They're never permanent. Never, ever. There's no permanent thoughts. No such a thing.
没有，从来
That's
没有
not
这个
possible.
永久的念头是不可能的，
Alright.
没有任何
The
念
second
头是
question.
永久的。第二个问题呢？
The second question I forgot.
第二个问题我也忘记了。
That's illegal. Only I can forget about this.
说那是
Yes, 3.
这是不
Thank
行
you,
的，只有我
Master.
可
The
以忘
second
记。
question was,
第二个
what's the
问题
difference between thoughts and wisdom?
Oh, yeah,
念
of
头
course.
跟
What's a
智慧
stupid
的
question?
差别是什么？真
That's
是
what
一个
we
愚痴
forgot
的问题。
immediately. What's the difference?
差别是
It's
什么？
night and day.
就是是黑夜与白天的差别。
What is wisdom? Wisdom is
智慧
lack of thoughts.
智慧呢，就是没有
It's that simple.
念头。
If you still have thoughts,
如果你还是有念头
you're
的话
not，in a state of wisdom.
你没有在那样的智慧里
This is the
面。
difference, folks. Let's be clear about it. The difference between
这个差别呢，
ordinary
在于
people and lay people,
一般人
ordinary lay
跟不
people
是一
is,
般人，
and wise and sages is what?
他们一定会说，
Difference is that
差别在于
a wise person
一个聪明的人，一个有智
can
慧
have
的人，
thoughts just like the rest of us.
他可以跟我们一样有
But they can
念头
choose，not to
但
have
是他可以
thoughts
选
when
择
we cannot have that
也
choice.
不要
We
有
don't
念
have
头
that，
但
choice. We
是
can
我们
choose.
没有那个选择。
The sages, they
这
said,
个圣人就说：“哈，
I don't want any more
我
thoughts.
不要任何念头。”
And they enter this state of wisdom.
他们就能够入那
Whereas
样
we don't have
的
that
这个
choice.
智慧，但是我们没有那
That's
个
the
选
difference.
择，那是差别在这，
Does it make sense?
懂吗？
It's not supposed to make sense to you.
他其实不应该是对你，
Pass the test. All right?
其实你应该是不
Does
会
it
懂
help?
的，对你们来说。
Okay? So this is why we're
这
teaching
就
you
是
all
当我们
these
在教导
things
你
in
这些
Buddhism
东
is
西，
to
在佛
help
教
you
里面呢，就是
develop
帮
the
助你呢
skills. He said,
能够有这个
I don't want
技
any
能
more
呢，让
thoughts.
我不要任何
So
的
that I
智
can
慧
clear，my head.
所以我就可以使我的脑筋清晰，
And remove the
而
confusion.
且呢，不要再
Whereas
觉得
ordinary people don't have
迷惑
that。
但
choice.
是呢，一般人呢是没有那个选
Once
择
they're
的。
confused,
他们一旦呢迷惑了，什么事情都可以发生的。
They can't crawl themselves out of that hole. They dig themselves a hole deeper and deeper. Whereas
他们
sages
没有
they
办
say,
法跳出来，但是
time for
呢，
me to shape
这
up
个圣人就说没办
and
法，
flip. When we can't,
那是我
and
们
whereas
没
they
办法。
can. All right. Any other questions?
还有没有别的问题？
Yes.
Yeah, Master. So that's what I was asking. I said, so the thoughts, it's associated with the feeling. So like you said, the feeling comes up first, and then we have the thoughts. So when you have a thought like that, like
当你有一个念头
let's
的
say you
时候
have
呢，
like
就比如说你
negative thoughts
有
over and
负面
over
的念
again.
头，
Like,
一旦
but
一
you
次
keep getting rid of the thoughts. Like, would you have to,
一次
deal
要
with
把这个
that
念
problem on the
头，
level of feeling rather than the level of the thought?
你想要把那个念头丢弃呢？那你是要从这个他的念头的方向来看呢，还是要从感觉的方向来看？
You're trying too hard.
你太
Okay.
强迫自己在试了。
You're trying to understand
你一直
how
试
to
着要
do
理
it.
解怎么做，
There's no need to understand.
不需要理解，
You only have to do what I
你
told
就
you.
只要做我教你做的就
You
对
have
了。
to enter that state.
你必须要
Then it's
到那
easy to
种
explain
境
to
界
you.
呢，就比较容易可以解释给你听。
Problem with
重点就是
worldly
呢
people,
一
they
般
want to
人呢，他们
understand
想要理
everything
解
when they
所有的
can't.
事情，但是他们没
You
办法
explain。to them,
你解释给他们
they
听
can't.
了，
They
他
don't
们
get it.
不懂。
And that's
这就
why
是为什么呢？
I admired about my late
我
Chinese
其实
teacher.
对我的这个师父呢，
He's the only one.
他其
I
实
know
是
of.
唯一呢，
The
我
only
的
monk
我的这
alive
个
I
中
know
国
of
师父呢，
that I've ever met, even very briefly. He's the
我
only
先
monk
遇到的，
who
他是唯一的
teach us
这个
how to
师
develop
父呢，
wisdom.
告
He
诉我
has
们如何
his
开智
steps
慧。
on how to do it.
他有这些
Whereas
一
all
个
the
一
other
个
monks
的
I
这
know,
个方
including
向
his
呢，
disciples, I
教我们
asked
怎么开智
all
慧。
of
所
them.
有的人告诉
I'm
我
very
们，
demanding as a person.
问他们，
Okay, I asked you Buddhists talk to
就说你
me,
们
talk
佛教徒告
about
诉我，告诉
first
我
stage
呢，
arhat.
第
How do I become first stage arhat?
一果罗汉
Can you tell
如
me
何
how?
成一果罗汉？你
Step
告诉我
number
如
one,
何
step
成一
number
果罗
two,
汉。
3, 4, 5.
1、
Tell
2、
me.
3、4、5。
Okay. Don't tell me about the theory.
不要跟我
I'm more
讲这
interested
个
in
理论
being，there.
我只是讲到那
Don't
儿。
tell me about Paris.
不要跟
Tell
我
me
讲
how to
巴
get
黎，
there.
告诉我怎么样
The
去
steps.
到巴黎。
By air, by sea? Huh?
是坐车还是飞，还是坐船？
I don't care, but help me
告
get
诉我
there.
告诉
Don't
我如何
describe
到
it
那，
to
不
me.
要解释
And
给我
he's the
听。
only one
他就是
that
唯
who
一
could
呢，
describe, who would
可
tell
以
you,
告
give
诉
you the
我。
recipe, the steps and how to get there. And they all work, by the way.
然后
He's
呢，可以告诉
extraordinary
我这个
human being.
一步一步怎么
He's
到
the
达
only
呢？
one
而且
I
都
know
是
of
有
who
用
can
的
do。that.
他只有我听过，唯一看过的一个
Unfortunately,
师傅可以做的这件事的
After
人。
he died,
但
no
是
one
他
else
走了以
could.
后，没有人可以了。
That's what's disappointing
这就
about
是
him. I'm disappointed
我觉得很，
at him for
他
that.
让我觉得很失望的地方。
Why?
为什么？
He has his treasure
他
to
有这个
humanity.
宝藏，对这个
didn't pass it
人类的
on
宝藏，但是他没有把它
to
传
next
下来
generation.
到下一代去。
That's disappointing. If you have a treasure,
如果你是有这个
you're
宝
supposed to
藏，
pass it on to your children.
你就其实应该给你的孩子，你其实要传给你的
Understand?
下一代，
It's your
懂吗？
responsibility.
是你的责任。
But anyway, so
但
he's
是
the,
呢，
but this is all we have.
这就是我们
He's a
所
great
有
man
的。
who's no
这
longer
是一
with
个
us.
非
So he
常伟
took
大
with
的
him
这
a
个师
lot
傅
of his，
他已经不
secrets.
再给我们，所以
And,
他把他很多的秘
and,
密
so
呢
that
带
to me
走
is
了。对我
disappointing
来说呢，
with
其实
what
非
he
常
left
令人失
behind.
望的。他留下来的
disappointing
其实是非常失望的。
That knowledge
那个知识呢，
was lost. It's lost.
其实呢已经失去了。
I'm very disappointed.
我其实
Anyway
对这件事情是非常失望。
3.
第三，
Thank you, Master. When I first started
当我开
attending
始
your Dharma talks
听
many
你的
years
这个
ago,
说法的时
you
候
gave
呢
me a treasure
你给我了很
that
多
with your permission
你
I
给我一个
would
保
share with
障
Andreas because it's on this
那我
topic.
可以跟 Andreas 分享
You suggested,
你
well, you armed me with a Vajra sword
你给我一
that I
个这
could
个
use
金刚
when
刀呢
thoughts came into my mind,
当我有
like
念头在我的
stop
心
crossing
里
your
面呢
legs.
叫我
You
停止
have a
呢
Vajra sword which is
盘腿呢你就有一
indestructible,
个
very sharp.
金刚刀呢是
And you
非常
strike
尖
the
利的
thoughts with
金
the
刚刀
Vajra
呢
sword,
你
you
就
pulverize the thought.
把那个刀
into
呢
nothing.
把它打
And I've
碎
used that
到
for
没
many
有
years now.
然
It's been
后
very
我已经
helpful, but
很
to
多
give
年
kind
都
of
在
like
用
what does
这
that
个
look like
方法
visual?
但
There's
是
a
我给
there's a
大
video
家一
game
个
called Beat Saber. And the
怎么
purpose
可以
of the
看到
video
它
game
呢
is
就
it's
是
a
有一个
virtual
video
reality
game
game
它
and
叫
there's
做 Beat
constantly these
Saber
blocks
就是
flying at
你有
you.
很多这
And
些
in
东
either
西在
hand
你
you
面
hold a
前
saber. So in either
往
hand
你
you have like a Vajra sword and
在
the
有很多
blocks
很多
come
的
at
这
you,
个
you
东
just
西在往你
swat
面
them
前
away
飞
and
所以
turn
你
to
手
nothing.
里面就拿一把
I see.
刀
Pulverize them.
就可以把它们
Thank you,
挥
Master.
掉
Very good. It works. It works for him. It
非
doesn't
常
work for everyone. It
对
works
他来说
for
有用
violent
这
people.
是对
People
对
more
每多人
inclined to violence and find beauty in violence.
这对这个喜欢暴力的人有用
Talk to Mary Jo.
你请跟 Mary 就讲话
You should. Should have a talk with her. Yes, Daniel. Catholic violent?
I have another question. In that case, where does wisdom...
I asked you a question first.
Uh-huh.
Are Catholics violent?
Catholic
我
what?
问你天主教徒是会暴力吗
Violent.
Violence?
Yes. It's a simple question.
这只是一个非常简单的问题
Is the Catholics violent?
Yeah. Are you violent?
你是
Me, myself,
暴力
yes.
呢你是暴力的人吗他说我
He's not
我是
Catholic.
他不是 Catholic
Go
他不
ahead,
是天
ask
主
the
教徒
question.
请说你的
Good
问
Lord,
题
I know more about your Catholicism than you. You should not be violent, my friend. Look at us Buddhists. We are very,
Violent?
peaceful, loving people.
Oh.
你看我们佛教徒是非常宁静跟不会
Yes.
是
I
暴
have a
力的
question.
人
So,
我的
where
问
does
题
the
是
wisdom come from? Does it come from higher power? Does it come from Buddha? Does it come from
那个
you?
智
Where
慧
does
是从哪
wisdom
里
come
来的
from?
呢
It comes
是从
from
你
me,
那
of
来的吗
course. Why did he
从
come
我这
here?
来的吗当然是
Why
从
do
我
you
这
keep on
来
coming
的
back? Because you
为什
you're
么在
trying to
这你
steal
为
the
什么一直
wisdom
回
from
来因
me.
为你要从这边偷我的智慧啊
Where does it come from?
它是从
In
哪来的
Buddhism,
呢
wisdom
在佛教
comes
里面
from
呢
inside
智
of
慧
you,
是从你的由你心里面
meaning
而
that
起由内而
wisdom
起
is
就表示这个智慧呢
inherently inside of
是
you.
本来在你心里面就
You
有
just
的
don't know how
你
to
只是
use it.
不知道怎么用
You
它而
remember
已
my definition of a
懂
sage?
吗你记不记得
Is
我
that the
说这个
sage, he
圣人
said,
的这个
I have
定义
these thoughts.
就是他
I'm
说我
having
有
a
这
good
个
time
念
with
头
my friend,
我跟我朋
my
友
son.
呢
let's play baseball.
说我们
Let's
来
go
玩
to
这个
ball
baseball 我
game.
们去一个看球
Let's
赛
go to the zoo.
或者是我们去动物
Okay?
园
All those are wonderful
这个都
thoughts
是
you
非
should
常
be
好的
sharing
念
with your
头
family.
你应该跟你家里
All
的
right?
人分享
But when the time
但
comes,
是等到
when
时
you
间
need
到
to,
的时候
to
你需
resort to
要
wisdom to solve your problem, you say, oh,
智
I'm
慧
not
来
thinking
解决
anymore.
你
That's
的
when the
问题
solution
的
is
时
the
候，你就
best.
说我不想什么，这就是为什么那时候的
See that?
这个
So in
solution
Buddhism,
是
we
最好的。
recognize that.
所
That's
以在佛
why
教里面呢，我们
we
知道
train our people.
我们训练我们
It's
的
a lot of
朋友
emphasis
们
in
呢，
Buddhism
是
to
这样子
train
讲
our
的。
people to learn not to think. It's a time that you should not think. Those times are the times when you need to solve problems. When you need to solve important problems, that's when you stop
当你需
thinking.
要解决重要问题的时候，你就不想了。
That's what Buddhists, that's the difference between Buddhists and Catholics. Catholics, you keep on praying to God, keep on praying for help and so forth. Help, 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 help. Okay? In Buddhism, we stop thinking and calm down and just the clarity will come.
所以这个
That's why
你就要停止
these
思
are
考，
for
所以
superior
那
people,
个
my friend.
你的那个
You see, in your world, Mary Jo, you explain to people when you have this problem, this is what, this is why, this is why, this is what you should do to counter that. You're still thinking. In our world, okay, you have a problem, cut it out. What thoughts? What me? There's no me, there's no thoughts, there's no one who's thinking, there's no one who's upset, there's no one who's miserable. Who's feeling miserable? No one. Who's thinking? No one. Who loves God? No one. So you can love God one moment, next moment, I'm above God. Because you don't think anymore. God loves, but we don't love. Yes, sir. 7.
I do like that idea, however, I see a flaw with it. The flaw with I see is like, for example, my clients. How can I tell my clients cut the thought when they can't even cut the thought because they don't know?
It's different. That's a different problem. I'm talking about normal situations where by yourself. Let's say you live in the world where you're there by yourself. No one at all. No one around you. Okay? Then you can do what I just told you. You can stop. However, for many of us, it's not the case. For many of us, our wife owns us. We love our wife dearly. So they own us. So when they call, yes, dear, how can we ignore them? Brady, you need to control yourself. This is one of my highest level Dharma I'm teaching you and you. I'm not sharing these things with you anymore. Huge loss, yeah, to humanity. No, there are cases where actually I'll tell you one thing that I'm joking, of course, but the one thing that many of you experience is that, for example, thoughts of depression. Where does it come from? Let me tell you, not you. You have thoughts that you feel bad about yourself. Huh? These negative thoughts I talked about, some of them you will not be able to get rid of because they're not yours. Okay? And that's your reality. You can only get rid of the thoughts that are yours. Then once you get to that point, you realize many of these thoughts are not yours. They keep on coming back, coming back, coming back. That's how you can tell it's not yours. Does it help? Then you can tell you're depressed. Don't need no test, no therapist. They don't know. All those tests they came up with are not practical. Because it costs us money. I'm giving you free tests, free home kit. If they keep on coming back the same thoughts, okay, you're depressed. Recognize that. Get help. Because that means if they keep on coming up like that, that means you cannot stop them. Get help. Don't be stupid. Is it clear? You need to know your limitations. Your own thoughts, your own negative thoughts, you can control them. But there are many cases for many of you, those thoughts are so strong. They keep on coming back time and time again. Okay? That's when you recognize it's
然后
not
你就会
yours.
看到说，它不是你的念头，你们需要人帮助。
We should be charging money for this. You know that Mary Jo. We should make a fortune doing this. Save the world a lot of grief.
要付
Yes,
费。
9.
From Derek, Master, it sounds simple to do nothing with a negative thought, but sometimes it feels like too big an issue to ignore. For example, my mom has issues with me going to the temple. We fight about it. How can I start to sweep the negative thoughts away?
那我们就会开始吵
You're
架。
depressed. Get some
那我
help.
怎么样能够把这个负面的这个念头丢掉呢？师父说你是忧郁的，所以你要有人在帮助你。如果他一直回来，这个念头一直回来，那不是你的，你需要有人帮助你。
Okay. All right. So remember, thoughts are impermanent. The practical implications are that you can sweep them off. The Chinese, the Indian, they teach them like some like scholarly thing. Thoughts are impermanent.
所以这个念头是负面的。
It's meant to advise you to ignore them. Better yet, just
ignore 他们，
dump them.
就把他们丢掉。
All right? But always, of course, there's always exceptions. I just pointed out to you. There's some thoughts you cannot dump because they're not yours. Then you can't dump them. You didn't generate them. What are you doing? Okay. All right. So 3 minds of past, present, future are nonsense. Cannot be obtained. I mean, the Chinese is just so complicated. It annoyed me when I first started. 三心了不可得，三心不可得。In Chinese, I say, cannot be obtained. Come on. It only means that just don't think about it. But the Chinese have a tendency to glamorize everything. And that's why their youngs are so confused. 三心不可得. They all mention that, they all quote that. But they don't know what it means. It means that you should ignore them. You should sweep them off. It's that easy. If you know how to do that, then you don't even bring it up. Because you want to keep the secret, don't you? The 4 marks are then empty. When this is again, this is a little bit higher level. Okay. So when you don't think of the past or present or the future, then the 4 marks, there's no more 4 marks naturally. What are the 4 marks? The 4 marks, well, in future, we know what the 4 marks are. Okay, the 4th contemplation, station of mindfulness, you should always be mindful of this, always remember this. Number 4, dharmas without self. Okay. Everything you observe in the world, okay, has no self. Anything and everything has no self. Okay, whether it's form dharma, okay, has no self. That has shape will lose its form.
那个有形状的东西，渐渐的会失去了它的形状。
Feelings,
受法，所感受的
are not real.
也不是真实的。
Okay, it's okay to enjoy those feelings; those are natural. But don't be attached to feelings. Meaning what?
是可以享受这些感受，但是不要
As
执着
long
于
as you're
它。
alive, you have these natural
当你
feelings to arise in
只要你
you.
活着呢，
Feeling
你
of
自然会有
warmth,
很多，比如
feeling
说
of
你觉得
comfort.
很温暖，
Yes?
觉得
Those are
很
natural
舒服，
feelings.
这是非常自然的感受。
Don't be attached.
但是不要执着于
That's
它
all.，
就这样子。
Thoughts, okay? Thoughts are
想法。
impermanent, okay? Formations are the automatic
所以
thoughts
这个
that automatic functions inside your body,
是
like
在你的心里
digestion,
面呢，比如说
like
你在
breathing,
你在呼吸你的这个身体的呼吸。
And finally, consciousness, dharma, consciousness is awareness. Okay, those are the components of the self. Questions, comments?
然后再来是释法。
Okay, Konk has a question.
Konk 有问题。
She was about to sneak out and say, "Oh, no one is here, so no one's going to notice me." Not.
没有人会知道我在这的。
Go ahead, Konk.
Hello, regarding the feeling and thoughts.
关于这个受法以及想法。
I interact with a lot of people here in Korea, and then I noticed that.
我见到在韩国见到非常多的人，因为我有注意到说，这个道场是一个很特别的环境。当有一个人有这个快乐或者是生气的念头，不管是什么的感觉，大家都在
So they keep asking, why is this? Why is this? Why is this? So it's almost like
一个理由来去看，来去了解它是什么。所以大家会一直问说，为什么会这样？为什么会有这个感觉？为什么会有感觉
？Understand. I think that's
要去理解它，好像是一个非常自然的现象，因为大家都是这个样子的。所以当我们讲到这的时候，所以这是我个人的这个注意的地方，我们常常在做的。
So what's wrong with that?
所以差别是什么呢
？Adding the comment that the thoughts arise from feeling.
所以我只是要讲说这个，我只是要附加说这个念头其实是从感受而起的。
At the beginning, I didn't understand
一开始我其实并不懂呢。
Much about it, and then more and more. There's more interaction with people, and then they keep asking me, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like that? And people are really focused on finding a reason why. So that's just additional comment to that information.
Okay, why? Okay. All right, anyone else? Yes, 5.
I find that what Shannon just said is interesting because
feelings
arise sometimes for no apparent reason that at least the logical mind can understand. So there can be 10 people you run into during the day, and then one person creates feelings in you that you don't even understand why you have that with that person.
Feelings of anger, you mean?
It could be anger, love, whatever it is, but there's no reason why one person creates that and another doesn't. And then you wonder, like, did I know that person from another life? Like, where is this coming from?
其中有一个人有，但是其他人都不会给我这个感觉，那你就会觉得说，我是不是前世就认识这个人？那你为什么要知道呢
？Still need to know why.
还是要知道，还是必须要知道为什么
？The problem with the people who insist on knowing why is that it's endless. As soon you answer the first why, then you ask why on those answers. So the best way to deal with that is that there's no why. Okay, but Xian An is a salesman, so she can't say there's no why.
但是显安是一个，他是专门是在销售的人，所以他没有办法告诉你为什么。
It's part of the learning process where people naturally, when you first came to the temple, we have to tell you why to appease you, to reassure you you're on the right track. But eventually, once you understand, once you believe, when you see the results of your spiritual practice, there's no need to know why anymore.
Spiritual practice 你就不需
Because
要
the
知道
why
为什么，
is but a thought.
因为你
So
要知道为
ignore
什
that
么，
thought
也只
even.
是另外一个
But I
燃
can't
起
tell
的念
Sienna
头
yet.
而已，你就
She has to
不要
sell.
想那个念头。但是我没有办法告诉显安，因为他必须要销售他的想法。
When you need to sell,
但
that's
是
when
当
you
你需要
when you explain why. You don't
需
need to
要
sell,
在
you know
卖的
why.
时候呢，那就是你要解释为什么。你如果不需要卖的时候，
Eventually,
你就不需要解释
they'll
为
be
什么
taught,，they'll
慢
be
慢你
taught
就会知道了，
to recognize the why.
就知道为什么了。
That is not necessary.
其实并不是 要知道为什么并不重要。
And there are 3 sufferings in Buddhism. You should memorize these things because you recognize this is what happens to us. Suffering within suffering. You suffer and it's not bad enough. Something else comes along and compounds the problem, makes it worse. Okay? So that's the nature of suffering, by the way.
这就是苦的这个
sometimes it's not additional suffering. It's just
但是
discovering that you suffer somewhere else as well. Okay, you weren't aware of. That's all. The suffering is endless.
只是你突然发现了，你一直都在受苦，只是你都不知道你在受苦。
It's another form of suffering itself. Okay, so suffering, when you're within the suffering, you see more suffering within you, more and more and more suffering is endless. All right? But it's too depressing to think like that. But that's the truth. That's the nature of our existence. You can deny it all you want, but that's the way it is. Okay? Suffering and decay here to me is like aging, which is not your problem. Right, Brady? They don't appreciate what it's like to have the body decay on you. Sabina have no clues. Why? Sabina is still growing. The body is still growing. For us, the body is dying. Okay, it's shrinking and it's losing its, its vigor, its enthusiasm, and so forth. But Sabina is just the exact opposite. Oh, life's so fascinating. It's so much fun. Huh? No, for us it's very depressing. Something you can look forward to, honey. You will too will experience that. Guaranteed. Okay? So suffering and decay is that it comes about. The suffering is because we have something and we lose it.
Okay.
Suffering within suffering is that you suffer and discover actually it's also something else that we should be suffering as well. And then you also discover this is very, very depressing, let me tell you. It's because your suffering is not bad and you realize that, that actually you're not just you're just not heartbroken because your wife is divorcing you. But also you discover that actually your son here really hates you. Okay? And so forth. It's a multi-layer suffering. This is why people cannot handle it. People get depressed, especially in modern era. People are so easily depressed. Many of them have depression, especially kids. A few years later, Sabina will experience this. The kids have depression. It's because they're discovering. The more they know, they realize it's endless suffering. So depressing. There's no end in sight. Okay? Suffering and decay is that you start having something of value that you appreciate. Then you start losing it. Okay? It's terrifying. All right? Suffering or life process is also the part of where yes 5.
I just want to say, Master, that Buddhism really is the only program that will teach you what you will gain from suffering, whereas in the greater reality, without this belief system, it's just like you said, it's a form of depression, of loss, of lesser, of disappointment. But it doesn't have to be that way as Buddhism teaches us.
Exactly. Thank you for the comment. You're Buddhist, right? Just to clarify for Daniel. See, Daniel wants to clarify. Yes, sir. 7.
Daniel. 他要说。
I disagree with the gentleman. I
他说
think
我不
Catholic
同意
teaches
他
you the
刚刚讲
same
的。
thing about
我觉得其他的
losses
这个教
and
导呢，也有讲到
and what
苦，
we can gain from suffering, which
而
is
且
the
我们可
ultimate
以
goal
怎
is
么样面对
salvation.
他们，最后得到救赎。
Dream on.
然后师父就说 ：“Dream on， 继续做梦吧。”
Okay, anyone else?
还有没有人？
Okay, suffering and decay. I have this theory
所
here.
以呢，
I
我个
don't
人
know
是
you
有这个理
agree with
论，
me or
我不
not.
知道你们同不同意。
You know, some years ago, like 10 years ago, I
我
read
记得10年前呢，
statistics
我读到
that
这
was
个数据
baffling.
呢。
Is Sangwook online? Sangwook, are you there?
Sangwook online， 在网络上吗？你在那儿吗？
Where did she go?
她去哪了？
Oh, she's back there. Hello.
她坐在后面。
Venerable Sangwook.
Venerable Sangwook。
Say hello. 안녕하세요.
跟大家
안녕하세요.
And then you see, the statistics, it says, for us,
有一个数据呢，就在
we
讲说，
will experience
我知
backache.
道呢，我们都会
Sound familiar?
遇到这个
Backache,
背痛
back problems.
背的问题。
How many of us?
有多少人呢？
100%.
100%
，All of
每
us
个人
will experience
都会
some kind of back pain or
会感
back
受到这
problems
个背的问题
in our life.
在我们的人
All
生
of
中。
us. Kim Deing has went through it at least 20 times
可
already.
能已经遇到了大概20次了吧？
You agree with that or not?
你同意还是
I
不同
found
意
it baffling. 100% of us will have backache. No avoiding it. When I read it, no more like 30 years ago, you know what happened to me? Next week,
就当我读的时
my
候，
back
大概
locked
是
up on me. I was bedridden for 4 days.
但是呢，大概几十年前吧，
It's
我读到
fascinating.
结果呢，
My
下
back
个礼
actually
拜
locked up on
呢，
me.
我的背呢突然就不动了，然后
I
我
was young
就
too.
坐在
and full
我
of
就在
life.
4天都不能
Not
动。
like right now, I'm bitter. Huh? Okay? So I hope it's not possible for any of us to avoid getting a backache. So far, so
你
good?
们都不可能逃过
Okay.
会遇到背
Here's
痛
my
的这个问
theory.
题。所以我的理论
What's
是
my
什么呢？
theory?
我的理论是什么呢？
You will be depressed.
你们都会遇
100%.
到忧郁症，100%。
Life is too much.
因为人生呢
Life
太
is too much for
辛
us.
苦
It's
了，
overwhelming.
是太
We will be
复
depressed.
杂了。
Albeit maybe a
我
short
们每个
duration or
人
whatever,
都
but
会
we will
遇到忧
all
郁的
be
时候，
depressed,
那每个人都会有的，
including
可能时间
Catholics.
长短的问题。
You know? What do you think? You agree or
你
disagree?
同意还是不同意？
Yes, Anna.
安娜，请说。
You experience depression already.
你们已经都感受
See,
到
now
这个
it touches a
抑郁。
nerve. 1.
I had an experience going with the rehab doctor at the osteopathic center in San Diego. And I took all my, what is it called? The doctor's studies on my back and all that.
No. Weed?
My husband and I.
Oh, your husband. Sorry.
So when I arrived there, he says, I don't need to see any of that. And he told me, tell me what's the worst that is happening right now in your life. So then eventually he went on to explain that our back problems are emotional problems. So he says, the Dr. Sarno, he already passed away, but he was a very popular and a very good doctor for many sports and athletes.
Sports medicine. Yes.
And he would be helping them to identify that they need to address the emotional aspects in their lives.
Yeah.
And then he went on to say that his father is one of the teachers in I think it's USC San Diego. So, and they don't practice any kind of medications in the patients. But they just said that emotions are the ones who distort our backs.
Okay, that's why we're depressed?
I'm not depressed, but you might identify that I'm depressed.
She sounds so defensive.
I mean, I don't feel that. I might be in denial. Yeah, thank you.
Well, you're still young, so you still have time. Mark my word, someday you wake up and say, Master Yunghua is right, I'm depressed. Hey, doctor, what do you think? It's a good field. Good profession you go into.
Yeah, my practice focuses a lot on the bodily symptoms that are the results of emotions and teaching people about that. So I agree.
All right. So it's just even if the diagnosis is there, it's not there, but you will experience thoughts of depression, for sure. Okay, at some point in your life. Anyway. Finally, the number 3 kind of suffering is suffering of process. This relates to the thoughts of depression as well. Thoughts process, the suffering of process that refers to the fact that thoughts are born into your mind. The thoughts come to your mind. Okay, and they continually, they come and die, they come and die. Okay. And that's that you have no control over it. Okay, that's a subtle form of suffering that people are in denial about. Okay? They accept the fact that they have thoughts, but they don't realize those thoughts are actually torture. A form of torture, either from yourself or from your creditors. All right? So we can learn through meditation, through our spiritual practice, to stop tormenting ourselves so that we can better recognize the torment from our creditors and address them and resolve them. All right? Questions and comments? Or Buddhism also talked about suffering in a different way of classification. We classify life suffering as 3 types: suffering of within suffering, suffering of decay, and suffering of a life process. Okay, but also you can look at the 8 sufferings. Suffering is can be categorized as 8 types: birth, old age, birth, aging, sickness, and death. And that's happens to all of us. Okay, we're born. That birth is very painful, not for just the mother, but also for the child. Old age is nothing we can do. The body ages, and that's we're helpless against it. Okay. And that suffering there is no way for us to avoid. Number 3, suffering of sickness. Okay, at some point in time, we will become sick. In particular, as you get older, you experience more sickness as a predecessor to death. Death is probably a terrifying process. And most of us, all of us are secretly afraid of this thing here called death.
因为呢，我们大部分的人呢都是暗中的，其实是非常恐惧这个死亡的来临。
With the thought that we eventually will have to die, and there's nothing you can do about it.
是没有你可以做的。
Even Buddhas have to die. No one is exempt from it.
去世，没有人是可以被。
It's a matter of time. Okay, and especially in ordinary people, they have no way of controlling that. Okay. There's nothing they can do about it. Okay, and the fifth kind of suffering is suffering for being separated from those who love. Okay, that's what happens when you love someone and you are attached to them and you don't want to be. So when you're separated from them, that suffering is pretty intense. Okay. Another suffering is being around the people that you hate. You run away from your house and you come to the temple, you find yourself facing a person you don't like at all. There's no place where you're safe from the people that you hate. Okay? And that is especially for monks. It's very bad for us. We thought we left our homes, come to the temple. We have a pure life. No, we found ourselves stuck with the people that we cannot stand.
道场呢，以为我们会有一个清净的日子，结果呢，我们来了道场，发现我们跟着我。反而变得跟一群人没有办法面对的人。
Share the personal experience?
有没有人要分享个人的经验呢
？Ain't got all day. Okay, go quickly, please.
没有
Master,
一整天的时间。师父，我同意。
Go on. Names, places, time, country.
有名字、地点，哪一个国家
？Anyone else?
还有没有别人
？I'm talking about monks and nuns here.
我在讲出家人哦。
That's air some dirty laundry. Q&A. Q&A. No?
没有吗
Okay. Tuan changed his mind.
Tuan 改变主意了。
Okay. Okay, so it's number 7, suffering or not getting what one wants. Okay. One thing that comes to mind immediately is being ignored by the ones you love.
就是被你爱的人不理你。
That
你
is
想要
a
跟
lot
他
of
在一起，
suffering.
就是求不得苦。
Okay.
那是很多苦的。
8, suffering of the raging blaze of the 5 skandhas. This refers to the fact that because I don't know why the Chinese choose to be so scholarly when they explain these things.
如此的学术性的在解释这些东西。
What does it mean, the raging blaze of 5 skandhas? It is so literary. You know, the 五阴智胜苦 okay? 智 is burning, okay?
智就是在燃烧的意思。
Violently.
胜就是非常
burning. Viciously.
凶猛的在燃烧的意思。
What does it mean?
意思是什么呢
What does it mean? What are the Chinese saying? What are the Indians saying with this teaching, this truth here about our lives, about ourselves? It's not about India, not about China. It's not about Afghanistan.
也不是关于阿富汗。
Okay.
这个教诲是在说
What is this raging blaze of the five skandhas? No, you wouldn't know.
你不会知道。
But give it a chance anyway to see how shallow the Catholic teachings are.
这个天主教的教导是有多肤浅的。
What are skandhas exactly?
See?
Skandha
The rest my case. You don't even know what's five skandhas.
五音是什么都不懂。
Anyone else? What does it mean?
意思是什么呢？
I was about to explain to
我
you.
本来是要解释给你听的。
This simply means
这
that
其实就是呢，
the one who's causing really
这些
the thing that causes is the
造
suffering
成
for
你
you
的
is
受苦的地方是
yourself.
你自己。
You cause your own suffering
你造成你自己的苦，
because
因为呢，
you still have a self.
你还是有你，因为你还是有一个我。
As long as you have a
只要你有
self,
一个自我，
you will
你就
torment
会
and punish
一直去
and torture yourself.
去
Depressing, isn't it?
去折磨你
I'm
自
out to
己。
prove that all of you will be depressed.
我就是要证明你们所有的人
Seriously.
最后都会忧
When
郁
you
的。
realize that, you
当你
should
发
be
现的时
depressed
候，你
because
其
the
实应该要
suffering
忧
comes
郁，
from
因为这个
us,
苦
no
是
one
从
else's.
我们自身而来的，不是从别的地方来的。
Yeah, listen.
举例来说，
Suffering from being apart from the ones you love. Get a new
爱
love.
别离苦，那你可以再找一个新的爱，不是吗？
Easy solution, yes?
是一个简单的
Suffering being around those who hate.
理由。
Shoot them.
怨憎会苦，那你就杀了他们吧。
Suffering not get what you want.
求不
Steal
得
it.
苦，那你就可以去偷吧。
Easy solution,
这
yes?
是很简单的方法。
Finally, the last one. Suffering from the raging blaze of five skandhas, suffering from yourself.
所以你是从
What are you going to do? Shoot
的
yourself?
问题的苦
Steal
你该怎么
yourself?
办？你要偷你自己吗？
Huh?
射你自己吗？
Love yourself?
爱你自己吗？
Ooh, a very appropriate comment. Ooh, you love yourself. Huh? See that? It is a big dilemma for us.
非常非常大的一个问题。
We are
我们
the problem.
是我们自己的问，我们就是问题，
You are the problem.
我们就是这个真正我
Doesn't
们受
matter how
苦的问
rich
题。
you are, how
不
smart
管你
you
有
are,
多
how
聪明，
you know how
多
successful you
多成
are,
功，
how pretty you are.
多美，
You're causing yourself grief.
你
No
就是
one
让你
else.
自己受苦，没有别人，不是别人任何人造
And you
成的。
keep on blaming
然后
others
你一直在怪别人，
for your suffering.
说你
You
说你
justify
会苦是因
that
为
you
别人
suffer
的问
because
题
of，others. But actually, you are the one who causing your
但是
own
你
suffering.
呢
No
是
one else.
造成你自
Not
己的
them,
苦，
not
不是
me.
别人的。
I'm innocent. They're innocent.
我
You
是无
are the
辜的，
culprit.
是你自己的问题。
What do you have to say for yourself?
那你应该这么说，你要怎么样替自己
See,
辩
my
解
legs
呢？
are hurting because I'm, you know,
我的脚很痛，
I'm
因
not
为
happy.
我其实不开心。
Who told me to cross my legs
谁
like
叫我
this?
要
Constantly, morning
要
and
早
then
上
afternoon. I
到
mean, this
下
is
午一直
nonsense.
要
Huh?
盘
You see
腿？
that? The
你
eighth
看，
kind of
其实
suffering
这第八
is
种苦
the
呢，
most
就是呢，
depressing one,
是
the
最
most depressing Buddhist truth.
最使人
We are the
觉得忧
problem.
郁
We're
的。
causing all our problems.
我们自己
We're
在
the
造成
source
我们
of
自己
all
所
our
有的问
problems.
题。
And
然后呢，
because if you
因为如此
understand
呢，
that,
如果你懂呢，
then there is hope.
那就有希望了。
If you don't believe it,
如果你
like
不相
most
信呢，像大部分
non-Buddhists, do, they don't believe it. I know you don't believe it. No need to raise your hands.
我知道你们不相信的，不需要举手。
Okay, give him a microphone so that he can practice denial in public.
所以他就可以当众的学着如何呢不承认。
7. Soju is in samadhi again.
Soju 已经在
He says, "Oh, liberation."
哦，解脱了。
I should start hating myself.
我应该开始
Yes, 7.
恨我自己。
I completely agree because it's a Catholic teaching, so.
Catholic what?
It's a Catholic teaching too, so I completely agree.
这个其实也是天主教的教导，所以我同意。
So what do Catholics do about that?
所以天主教徒他们都说些什么？他们都做些什么呢？
What we do is we have to pray and we have to
我其实是要祈祷
learn about how to
学着呢
basically
基本上
the
呢
correct way to suffer, though that's what we learn.
That will not fix it. You can pray all you want. It's not going to fix it.
你可以一直祈祷，但是是没有办法去
Yes, 7, 9.
去解决他这个问题的。
Jared, how do I not suffer as much?
这是
And then
Jared，
he changed it to how do I stop my anger issues?
他说我怎么样可以
Jared,
不受
our
苦？
Jared?
Yes, our
怎么
Jared.
样可不可以
What?
停止受苦？
You know
说是
how
我
old
们
our
是
Jared is?
你知道我们的 Jared 几岁吗？
The same Jared I know?
这个是我知道的
The only
Jared，
Jared I know?
我唯一知道的 Jared 嘛。
The one that has a
那个后面有一个那个的，
a tail and
像
behind
一
his head?
个头后面有
Not
那个
behind his
那
rear,
个
it's the head.
尾巴的吗？
Move north.
搬到北边。
Get away from yourself.
脱离你自己。
He sounds depressed, doesn't he?
你看他听起
You
来
should
是
be
在忧
depressed.
郁，
You
是
know,
不
it's
是？
you are
你其实应该要觉得
causing all
忧
the grief in your life.
郁。
It's
你
you.
其实就是在造成
It's
你个
very
人的苦，
depressing. That's
其
why
实是
it's
非
my
常忧
theory
郁
is
的。
100%
这就为
of
什么
us
呢？
will experience
我就
depression.
说，我就是我的
Nothing
理
you
论
can do about it.
，100%的，你们
Q&A
在你们的人在你们人生中都会
See
觉
how
得
quick,
忧
how
郁。
deftly I avoided answering the question?
你猜我
Okay.
马上就
Oman.
拒绝回答这个问题。是的，请说，老和尚。
A Di Đà Phật. Con thấy cái này là cái chánh ở trong cái kinh Phật dạy mình. Nguyên nhân mình khổ là tại mình có cái ta, cái self. Mình cái gì cũng me, I suffering, he hate me, he take away from me, from blah blah blah. Thì mình tại cái self đó mà mình ra tất cả vấn đề. Con nhẫn dịch đi.
I think like this is from the teaching of the Buddha, like the suffering. The reason is because we all have the self. So we all say that like he hates me, he takes things away from me, blah 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 blah.
把我东西拿走，他讨厌
Thì
我。
bài học đầu tiên là Ngài Tổ Huệ Năng dạy mình. Khi Ngài thấy hai ông Tăng cãi với nhau là cái lá phướng bay, ông kia nói trật rồi, gió bay chứ phướng không có bay. Thì cứ như vậy qua lại thì Ngài Huệ Năng nói là gió không bay, phướng không bay mà cái tâm mấy ông động.
So the first lesson is Master Hui Nang. He taught us in Six Pages Sutra. So when he saw the two monks were arguing against with each other, because one monk would say like the flag was flying, and the other monk was arguing like no, the wind caused the flag to move, and then they keep debating back and forth like that, and then in the end, Master Hui Nang said, no, none of you right. It's your mind that moves.
Và bài học thứ hai là Tổ Quy Sơn của mình dạy thế này. Các vật xung quanh mình, nó dạng vật xung quanh mình, các pháp đó, nó không có nói có, nó không có nói tốt, nó xấu, tại mình thấy thì mình đánh giá. Là cái nguyên nhân đó là mình khổ cho ai nữa. Đó là cái bài học thứ hai của Tổ Quy Sơn.
And then the second lesson is from the master Hui Shan. He said like all of the things outside, it didn't say that whether it's right or it's wrong or whatever, but it's us, our judgment mind decided. Our discrimination.
Đây là bài học con học được khi đi đại hàng với thầy năm 2018. Cho dịch đi.
And this is the lesson that I learned from you when I go with you to Korea in 2018.
Thì đêm đó con ngủ chung phòng với thầy thì con ngồi được thấy thầy ngồi thì con ngồi, ông trụ trì cho hai thầy trò ngủ chung một phòng thì con thấy thầy ngồi thẳng, con cũng không có dám nằm, con ngồi thẳng. Nhưng mà sau 1 tiếng đồng hồ thì con gục xuống.
So the abbot arranged for me to stay in the same room with Master, and then I saw that Master was sitting upright, so I didn't dare to lay down to sleep. So I sat up. And then after 1 hour, I began to slouch.
Thì khi con ngã xuống thì con nghe cái tiếng mình lỗ tai nói rất là nhỏ, chỉ đủ nghe thôi. Ai biết ngủ một chú tụng đi rồi dạy cho.
And then I hear a small voice talking to my ear, say that whoever knows the 5 spiritual mantra, recite it, and then I will teach.
Thì con nghe cái tiếng ngồi thì con ngồi xa ra, không có dựa tường nữa mà ngồi thẳng lên cho đến 9 giờ sáng luôn, không đau, không mỏi, không buồn ngủ.
Hearing that voice, I straightened up my back, and then I sat far away from the wall. I did not lean against it, and then since then I could sit straight up until 9 a.m. the following morning.
Rồi thì sau đó 1 ngày 2 ngày gì thì ở trong khách sạn để chờ về Minh Mỹ này đó, thì ngồi trong khách sạn không biết làm gì, nhìn cái màn cửa đó.
And then after that incident, and then a few days later, we were getting ready to go back to the U.S. And then before we get to the airport, we stay in the hotel. And then, you know, like the whole day staying in the hotel was kind of like boring, don't have anything to do. So I just look at the
window.
The window with the curtain.
Thì cái tấm màn đó in hình một cái cô người phụ nữ đại hàng mặc kimono thôi, rất đơn giản thôi.
And then the curtain has a simple image of the Korean lady wearing the kimono, the traditional clothes.
Thì khi con ngồi nhìn con kimono. What is the traditional clothes you wear? Cái mẹ năng nói mà gió bay phương bay đó.
And then I keep looking at that curtain with that image, and then suddenly I understand the principle that Master Hui Nang was taught the 2 monks about the flag is flying or the wind is blowing.
Cái hình này không có mời, không có gọi, không có đẩy, không có nói cái gì mình á. Mình nhìn tấm hình là mình đánh giá rồi mình phiền não, chứ cái hình này không có nói gì mình hết á. Tức là các quanh mình
didn't really say anything, didn't invite anything or whatever. So, but our mind decide with our kind of opinion.
就是我们虽然
còn nữa về bên Bát Nhã mà dài quá con xin hết ở đây.
但是我们的心里面呢，看着某一件不的事情，我们就会有自己个人的想法。因为我们知道呢，是我们的自我，所以佛就教了我们呢。
primary source of our suffering
我们所有的苦呢，其实就是从我们的自我而生的。那是有一个方法可以脱离这些苦。
The Buddhist practice.
这就是佛教的修行。
So that's what he taught.
这就是他教导我们呢，如何呢
end all suffering by eliminating the ego, and that's possible.
可以了所有的苦。然后呢，就是能够把我们的自我消灭。很多人做过，很多人在我们的道场也做到了。所以呢，佛教呢，这不是关于说而已， 不是只是意思而已。
then
跟理论
you can learn the exact methodology
你
or
也可
Dharma
以学
doors
这个
how
法
to get
门
there
跟
yourself,
方法
where
来
there's no
怎
more
么样
suffering
可
whatsoever.
以让自己了苦。
All right? All right. I think time is up.
时间到。
Perfect. Then next time we
下次呢
do 4950.
我们从
Thank you all.
49页开始，谢谢。